Let's do it.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, starting to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our WWE 4th of July edition. Welcome y'all back to the show. We're so excited to be here and we got a lot of stuff to cover, man. I texted you at some point this week letting you know that this is like
this was a solid week.
WWE is on damn fire. SmackDown was just insane. Raw just continued on with the insaneness. NXT slowed it down a little bit, but I'm still excited for Heat Wave. It's some good stuff, so we got to get this party started. But before we get this party started, my son Mason got me. He loves Prime. He's like the biggest Logan Paul fan. So Logan Paul, why don't you hit us up, man?
Yeah, hit us up, man.
I got bottles behind me. You can't see them, but they're right there. I got all sorts of. We're always drinking Prime on here, but he found this, and I didn't even know it existed. But it is a WWE Special Edition Prime. So
cool. What's the flavor
on here? I don't know. It does not say. It just says Prime. It's like these other ones too. I got them some Prime X, and it didn't really say. Oh, I think it's Meta Moon. So it's the Meta Moon flavor. It says Meta Moon on the back, which is good. So let's see. I'll let you know. If it's Meta Moon, I already know it's bomb. Yeah, it's a Meta Moon. It tastes good. Yeah. Good stuff.
Prime is good, man. Prime is under, like, there's a couple of drinks out there like Gatorade and body armor, but Prime, man, Prime tops them all. Prime is unbelievably good.
I fully agree. I know people say, oh, it's like too sugary, which is weird because there's like no sugar. It's like all like zero fat, zero everything. There's not a lot of sugar, but I don't know. I think it's bomb. I think it tastes good. So cheers to our dude Logan Paul for
send us more, Logan.
Cheers to my son. Huh?
Yeah. I think Logan Paul needs to send us like unopened packages of Prime, and we'll test them and try them and sponsor us.
Yeah.
Damn it.
We won't even do it on the podcast. We'll make a whole video. We can do it on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Whatever you want, man.
Yeah,
we'll give you the tag, Logan. We'll give it to you. we'll allow it.
Yeah,
all right. But yeah, it's good. So shout out to my son Mason. But all right, let's do this. You ready? SmackDown.
Let's get it.
SmackDown. This episode was very Bloodline heavy. I'm sure we have some takes about it, but let's get it going. Here we go. The show opens with the Bloodline walking to the ring when they get jumped immediately by Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. They all brawl, and Nick Aldis comes out. He basically can't handle them. The good guys once again beat up security for some reason, and Nick Aldis cannot get them out of the ring, so he kicks them out of the arena. Tiffany Stratton advances to the Money in the Bank. Bayley and Naomi discuss what happens if Naomi wins the Money in the Bank. The Street Profits will face the returning musical Pretty Deadly. Solo tells Paul Heyman that Jacob Fatu is not in the arena. LA Knight, advances to the Money in the Bank, continuing his Logan Paul feud. We got Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton, your boys. They have a nice little stare down. Carmelo Hayes brags to Baron Corbin that he will win the Money in the Bank. Naomi wins and advances to the Money in the Bank as well. DIY are excited for their title match next week. In walks Austin Theory, and Gargano tells him that Grayson Waller isn't really his friend. Then Grayson Waller beats the snot out of him and says, "You don't know me, Gargano." The Bloodline walks out for their acknowledgement ceremony. Solo introduces Jacob Fatu about 5 seconds into the ring, so there goes that. Paul Heyman looks a little upset, and Solo Sikoa does his best Roman Reigns and makes every single person acknowledge him, which almost gives Paul Heyman a heart attack. Then he whips out his Roman Reigns lays, and I don't know how he got. Paul Heyman asked the same thing. He wants to put it on him and have Paul Heyman acknowledge him. Paul Heyman says, "I love you, but I only acknowledge my tribal chief, Roman Reigns," which lends him an ass whooping, a splash from Fatu, and him crashing through the table to close the show. But wait, Jacob Fatu puts Roman's lay around Solo to officially close the show. And that is the SmackDown review. I'm sure you want to start there, huh? That was like the main stuff that happened.
Yeah, I mean, that was the highlight of the week, I think. And, I no longer think Paul Heyman is the mastermind behind all of this.
I think that's gone.
I mean, they did something similar a few years ago when Roman Reigns fired Paul Heyman as the wise man, and then Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, just for Paul Heyman to turn on Brock at the Rumble and give the title to Bobby Lashley before realigning with Roman. So, but I don't think they're going that direction this time. They put him through a table. They wouldn't have done everything that they've been doing. So, but Paul Heyman, man, is going to go down as maybe one of the GOATs that has never stepped into the ring. I mean, first of all, like, the man is a method actor. I mean, you can tell that he is like putting on weight. He's not sleeping. You can see the rings under his eyes. He's got like a little facial hair coming in. He's trying to play the role of somebody who's super, super stressed out, and he is playing it to perfection. And his acting ability, I saw something on, I think it was the New York Daily News, hyping him to win an Emmy for his performance in this Bloodline story, because I mean, it's just been fantastic. His acting and the way that he's carrying this stuff and making it entertaining. I cannot wait for Roman Reigns to come back. He is going to give Solo the beating of a lifetime. And like, I'm just, every time they pull us out with this Bloodline story, they find a way to suck us right back in. And this was another way of doing that. Now, so first it was Jimmy Uso, and now it's Paul Heyman, and the pieces are starting to come together.
Dude, and Jacob Fatu is a beast, man. I knew he was. Man. His presence, just him being there is like eerie and scary. There's even a scene where WWE like recorded them walking back after they beat up Paul Heyman. He's just kind of like vibing, but he's even vibing scary. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and
he's like, yeah. Go ahead.
Even the Tongans don't know what to do with him.
No,
last week when he debuted, you could tell, like, when they were acknowledging Solo and they were throwing the ones up, they were like looking at like Jacob, like, what is going on? Like, yeah, so you can, and like those guys they've been put together pretty well as well, and since they came over. So yeah, I like the fact that Jacob Fatu is his enforcer. I do wonder what's next in this story. Like, who is Solo Sikoa? Is he the tribal chief? Is that what we're supposed to think? If that's the case, does that mean he gets a wise man? Who will the wise man be? So there's a lot of questions coming up, and I can't wait. I'm excited to see what happens next.
So here's how it's working, in my opinion, right? You got, for one, Paul Heyman, props to Paul, right? Because this dude is past his age. He's not in his ECW days anymore. The fact that he took that splash, took it well, took the table bump, took everything. I mean, I know they protected him the best they can, but still, major props to Paul Heyman. He got stretchered out. It was on WWE something afterwards.
3 straight weeks now, somebody being stretchered out.
Right. That's SmackDown, man. Don't go to WWE right now. Wherever Raw, SmackDown, you're gonna get stretchered out at some point or stalked by Nikki. But here's the thing. I think since day one, and I brought this up, that this is the Bloodline Wolfpack. This is the young guns versus the studs. And everybody, you had the theories of Paul or the Rock team. No. This is these young cats. So lions, if you know the lions and the king of the lion is the king. The main lion is the king until the younger lion decides otherwise and defeats that king, right? He's able to overtake him. This is what I'm seeing, man.
That's what happened in the plot of the Lion King right there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's what this is. This is the jungle, baby. And Roman Reigns is that king. And all the younger siblings now are wanting to take him out. And Solo is that one. So you have Solo with all the young guns. They got rid of Paul Heyman. They're going to move on around SummerSlam. I think it'll be after Money in the Bank around SummerSlam. Roman, The Rock, Jimmy, Jay, Paul Heyman, maybe even Sami if they want to throw it in. Who knows? They're going to come back to overtake and show them the old dogs are still those dudes. And that's what we're leading to. And it is beautiful. The way to get them over. This is like what the Nexus should have been. The Nexus, people are saying the Wyatt 6 is like the best like premiere ever or debut. No, man. The
We'll talk about
Nexus.
that,
If you have not seen the Nexus debut, Google it on YouTube,
It's
whatever,
good
go
stuff.
watch
Yeah.
it. But it's like you get chills, it's just insane. And they did nothing with them. They had them get buried by John Cena and so on. If they would have done this approach where you get like the Judgment Day is the same thing. You need to get these guys that feel threats. Jacob Fatu's a threat. Solo's starting to feel like a threat. Obviously, we're going to get Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam, and then and then maybe that's the return of Roman. But either way, I like where they're going with it. I'm digging it. I'm all for it. And whoever's saying it's boring or bored or this and that, I think Solo's been doing better. So I didn't like that he was like base. He did look like a Temu version of Roman Reigns this week because he was like, acknowledge me and blah, blah, blah. And, this and that. And if you're going to be the new guy, then don't just be the old guy, right? Like if I take over a management, which I've done many times over the last guy, I change things. I don't just do what he did and hope that I'm also going to succeed. No, I change it all, do my own thing. So it is a little weird that he's trying to be Roman, but nonetheless, the whole thing together is working.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited to see what they do next. I do want to know how all this is possible. How did he get the lay that Roman Reigns had? How does he just walk in and say, you know what, I'm the tribal chief today? And no one, like, who is he reporting into? Somebody? Does somebody are the elders appointing him this? Like what? That's what the kind of stuff I want to know. I could go up tomorrow and say I'm the tribal chief, and I could beat Solo in a wrestling match. I'm not challenging him, but I'm just saying, like, storyline.
No, you just did. So I want to bring it, Solo. He lives in North Carolina. If you need to find him,
but no, I'm just saying, like, I could say I'm the next tribal chief, and they could make me the tribal chief on paper and on script. But I want to know how. Like, how is he doing this? How does he have why Solo? How does he have the power to make all this happen? That's what makes me think there's somebody behind the scenes calling the shots. Or like the elders
Rikishi or someone. So you don't think he's just doing this? You don't think when Roman comes back, he's going to be like, bro, you broke into my house, or you found a way to take this from our uncle or nephew, or you ain't the tribal chief. You don't think someone's going to, they have to let it build, right? Wrestling is still entertainment. It's not a, just like the whole Rhea thing, which we'll get into too with Priest, like, oh, I talked to Rhea and she's pissed. So has Dom just been like ignoring her? Like, obviously we have to take some disbelief.
Yeah.
Right? So he could be doing that way. So it could be either way. It could be he's phony, or it could be there is a guy telling him.
Yeah, there's something going on. That's why I want to know, like, how is all this happening? How is all this coming to be? So, and hopefully we'll get some answers but this is still the best storyline going on. And just when I think the Liv and Dom storyline is entertaining, the Bloodline goes and takes it to a whole nother level.
I agree fully. Anything else you want to talk about on here? That was the main. That
was really the big thing on SmackDown.
Cody, KO, Randy getting kicked out. I gotta say, I like the use of the basketball players, Jalen Brunson and
you did,
yes, yeah. So, but I was a big fan of like Karl Malone, Dennis. I like it. I like it, and I like too that they didn't touch. Like back in the days, it was like a whatever, this and that. Nowadays, those NBA players are like, yeah, you can go there, but you ain't doing nothing. We ain't having Tyrese Halliburton getting injured because you did this, that, and this. But it was nice. I think Tyrese Halliburton Reggie Miller
in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was. That's what I mean. It wasn't like he was like the Pacer or the Knicks killer. They should have brought out Reggie Miller. Now, if you would have brought Reggie Miller, I would have been all for it because he used to kill the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. He was better there than the Knicks players were. So yeah,
I liked it, but what's it going to lead to? Is it going to lead to anything?
No, nothing. It was just fun.
Because that was the thing. Like Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman, their rivalry started on the court. These guys were like throwing elbows and haymakers, tripping each other, and all this like getting physical and on the basketball court. And that's what led WCW to say, hey, you know what? Maybe there's some money here. We can have these guys participate in a wrestling match. But like Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson just had a playoff series against each other, and the entire Knicks team was hurt, including Jalen Brunson, who got hurt in Game 7 of that series. Tyrese Halliburton was hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, I don't know. It would have been. I think it would have meant more if these guys had gone at it. I know the teams went at it, but they didn't get physical or anything. They weren't guarding each other. They weren't like throwing elbows and shoving each other. So I think that would have meant more. But yeah, I agree with Reggie Miller. Bring him in there, do the choke sign, and get Jalen Brunson up there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Charles Oakley and Jalen Brunson's corner.
Yeah, let's get some John Starks up in here.
Let's make it a
make it
6-man.
fun.
Yeah. Get Antonio Davis out there and Rick Smits.
Oh man, those are the days, dude. Don't get me started.
Jalen Rose. Yeah.
Ooh man, Jalen Rose. All right, you ready to move on to Monday Night Raw?
Yeah,
Let's
I think
go.
so.
The show continued. I'll let you know that much. All right. Jey Uso opens the show. Chad Gable interrupts and they fight. Chad Gable exits the ring and out comes the Wyatt Sick6 music. You can't see anything, but Nikki Cross does give Michael Cole a VHS box again. Xavier Woods defeats Karrion Kross and then gets jumped afterwards, and so does Kofi Kingston. Damian Priest tells Dominic Mysterio that mommy is pissed at him. Liv is in the clubhouse with the rest of the crew. She leaves and Finn tells Priest to trust them. Liv Morgan then defeats Selena Vega with the help from Dirty Dom on accident. Seth Rollins out for a promo when Finn Balor interrupts. Priest runs out and tells Rollins it's not a trap. Then Seth super kicks him at the same time. Weird. I don't know how that happened. But Priest still ends up on top. Ludwig Kaiser has hurt his ribs and he vows revenge on Sheamus. Damian Priest tells Finn Balor that he really appreciates him. I really, really do. I love you, man. I do, but I don't need your help on Saturday. And Finn Balor, I think, says yippee or agree or I don't know what he says something, but he agrees in the long run. Zoe Stark wins and advances into the Money in the Bank. We get another Uncle Howdy interview where he interviews Bo Dallas once again. Interview is actually in the Firefly Funhouse. Chad Gable tries to win Otis over again while Otis is eating a whole ton of food, but Otis is still not convinced. Rey freaking Mysterio defeats Dirty Dom again because of Liv Morgan, though, this time. Sami Zayn out for a promo. Braun Breaker interrupts. Braun Breaker spears Sami in the ring. He misses doing a one outside of the ring, and then he spears him again inside of the ring. That it went in that order, folks. It, like boom, boom, pow. Damage Control is angry, and they fight Valkyria for some reason. And Drew McIntyre wins in the main event to advance to the Money in the Bank after he promises to win, and he shows off his CM Punk bracelet. It looks like he kisses it too. I don't know what he does, but that's the Monday Night Raw review. What do you want to go at? Where do you want to start?
First, I want to talk the Wyatt Sick6.
Oh, okay. You're still not digging it. You were all about it. You had the biggest intro, you know what for it, and now
the debut was solid, and then last week's interview was better. I think it was good, but this week it was another. It was the same thing. It was the exact same thing as last week, and that's the thing I didn't like about it was, you know. And I know that wrestling fans, you know, typical the stereotypical wrestling fan complains because they didn't get what they wanted. But in this case, I'm going to complain because I didn't get what I wanted, which was I wanted an interview with Dexter Lumis, and then I wanted an interview with Joe Gacy, and then I wanted an interview with Nikki Cross, and then I wanted an interview with Eric Rowan, and then go back to Bo Dallas and kind of interview each of them individually, and kind of figure out like why they're doing what they're doing. But like just with Bo Dallas 2 weeks in a row, it just, I don't know. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm happy that Bo Dallas is doing his thing. He's bringing it. He's really putting everything he can into this to make this work. And I'm mad respect for him for doing so. And, you know, maybe he was underrated this whole time. I don't know, but he's doing his thing. But I just didn't like it was the exact same thing. They went over their reason for going after Chad Gable and talking about family and just I don't know. I wanted it to be something different than another interview with Bo Dallas, especially with another VHS tape. And it's just the exact same thing, the exact same scenarios, that exact same build up, everything.
It definitely was like a continuation, right? It was like the interview didn't finish, and so here we are.
So do you need a new videotape? Why can't you just press play on
I don't, because you remember you only had so much recording time back in the days on VHS tapes, right? But no, I agree with you. I did like the interview again. I thought it was nice. I thought it was in depth, but it seems like they are still supernatural, because the way I see it was that he became him, right? Because Bo found it. And so basically he's resurrecting the Firefly Funhouse is what I got out of it, which is why all those guys are there to be each character, which is stated. But then it ends with just Uncle Howdy, which I think was stating that Bo Dallas is no longer is now Uncle Howdy? Is that where they were? What they're not doing like a D12 thing, which we talked about before, where they have two personalities. It looks like they are gonna be these characters. That's what I got. I could be wrong. I don't know. I didn't really read anything or look into things if people had other theories or whatever. But that's what because they're in the Firefly Funhouse. He did say, so you're saying that you're bringing them back or something like that. And he was, yeah. And then it went to him and then back to Uncle Howdy. And that's how it ended. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it all. The supernatural stuff, they're messing with Chad Gable, but they're not. Like, I mean, they haven't even touched Chad Gable. They're just messing with his head, which we can get into.
The other thing. That's the other thing. Yeah, they haven't touched Chad Gable. They talked about false prophets belittling their family, and yet, Jey Uso was in the ring with Chad Gable, and apparently there's footage of Jey Uso like climbing under the ring to hide from the Wyatts when he came out.
Is there?
Yeah, he's because he doesn't want anything to do with the Fireflies, is what he keeps saying, and then, but like we have the thing for me is like Nikki Cross comes out and hands the videotape to Michael Cole again, and you see the security guards are knocked out. Like who knocked them out?
There's one on the
there's one like lying on the commentary table, and I'm like, you don't see any. She's the only one out there. Like, so is this like, is the steam and the smoke around is that what's taking them out? Are they asleep on the job? Like, what is going on with, like, that's the kind of stuff that I'm just like I want to get into this, but like, show us somebody other than Nikki Cross, show us somebody other than Bo Dallas, and give me a reason to get into this. And the only thing I took away was they're going after Chad Gable because he's belittling his family, and that means that Dominic Mysterio could be next, and maybe Solo Sikoa could be next, and Jey Uso could be next, and they're going after all these false prophets who are belittling their family. But then they show Uncle Howdy is the only one left, and it was just I don't know. I'm ready for them to. I know it's only been 3 weeks, but they're not doing their intro captivated me. The interview last week was great. This week was just kind of like, okay, like let's move on from this already and kind of get to the next chapter. Don't drag this out. This is what they did with Bray Wyatt. Great comeback. And then he had a couple of weeks of the same promo week in and week out. And then it just got to a point where it dragged on a little too long that people lost interest.
I mean, they're still getting huge pops, man. When that music hit, I mean, the crowd explodes. So, I mean, they're still getting a huge pop right now. So the fans are still digging them. And speaking of, let's get in the Judgment Day then, because they're all over the damn place. I mean, I have all my predictions, which I tried to post on TikTok 1,000 times, but they're not posting my videos. But we had all sorts of good fun coming on here with, Priest and Finn and Liv and Dom and champions and helping out, but then ending it with Liv not being able to help out, which I think is tailing to almost 100% what my prediction I said last week on our show, which I think is going to happen with Liv and Damian Priest. So we'll see, but I thought it was a good solid night. I thought Seth Rollins had a good promo. I like that Finn helped him out. I like that Priest was still like, okay, I want to do it. It kind of just seems like Damian Priest wants to be a babyface, wants to be that guy, but also likes his family. So it seems like he's kind of torn. I'm not going to say he's, Anakin Skywalker, but he has that vibe, right? Where he wants to be a good person, but he also wants to be in the dark side, but he doesn't know which one is going to overtake him and where he's going to go.
That's a good analogy.
You know what I mean? But I don't know, but I do like it. And I really, really liked that. I love this Liv and Dom. So I love that this time Dom went on her and then she like straddled him so much so that Ray had to like yank him. He was like, get off her. You know what I mean? But I don't like Dom losing once again. I thought it was stupid that they were going to wrestle. Dom and Ray is WrestleMania and WrestleMania only. It's not SummerSlam. It's not Money in the Bank. It's not Royal Rumble. It is WrestleMania. And you had this match on Raw and it was a great match again. Just to have Ray win again, it's just, and I get that Liv helped in this, but you could have Dom lose to somebody else and have the same exact result. It didn't have to be Rey Mysterio. So I didn't like, and what does that do for Ray? What is Ray doing right now in the LWO? It just,
nothing.
And also I know that Dom helped Liv win, but Selena Vega was barely a contender. Liv just beat her, and now they're continuing on that. Like, Selena came back out again I didn't really dig that, but everything else, I'm very intrigued with Money in the Bank when it has to do with the Judgment Day. I'm very curious on where all of this is going.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is where is all this going? What is, because there's so many theories out there that Finn and Liv Morgan are working together to take Priest out because they partnered together to take on the original Judgment Day, which included Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Edge at the time. There's theories out there that Liv Morgan wants to just take over the Judgment Day and be the new mommy, and they're gonna take Priest out. And it's gonna be the same group minus Damian Priest. So I don't know. But this is so entertaining. I don't like that Rey won either. 3 times now Rey has refused to put over his own son. He hasn't beaten him. Dominic even posted on X. I don't know if you saw this, but he was complaining that his deadbeat dad has never beaten him clean in a WWE ring.
He has not.
And he hasn't, because he had Jason Kelsey and what's his face help him at WrestleMania
last year, yeah,
and then Bad Bunny and the Whip last year, and then and then this time with Liv Morgan. So, but yeah, Rey and Dom, that's a Mania match and a Mania match only. And like, Rey, put your son over, like put him over, let him like you're gonna be riding off into the sunset soon. Do you really want to go into the sunset knowing that you never put your son over? Like, is that the kind of dad you want to be? Like, I don't understand that. So
he's gonna retire at Mania. He's gonna retire him, I'm telling you.
I hope so. He needs to, but 3-1. I mean, I don't know. But
yeah.
But yeah, I like what they're doing with Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. I don't know where they're going with that one either, with the stipulation that they've added to the match. But yeah, I mean, this is that segment was weird though, with Seth Rollins and that super kick and everything that happened.
How do you hit them both? Was that an accident? And then they just happened to like just both fall, and he was like, all right.
Yeah.
It was a little weird.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I mean, Judgment Day, I'm glad they have the tag team belts. I'm glad. I know that they won them last week, but they're being booked better. This week they lost because of shenanigans, so it's not because they just lost clean. They lost due to crazy shenanigans and stuff. So yeah, I'm digging what they're doing with this, and this is the second, but minus the Bloodline, this is the second best story on WWE television right now. And sometimes it's the best story when the Bloodline's kind of flailing. So it's entertaining, and I can't wait to see where they go.
Did you hear Finn Balor state what I was saying? That he was like, hey, you might not like her, but she helped us win tag team gold. I'm telling you, my theory is the only right theory. You'll see. Had it since day one. You'll see.
And then she's in the locker room with them, and and then Dominic saying that, oh yeah, I talked to Rhea, and Damien's like, well, I talked to her too, and she's pissed. So yeah, all these little nuggets. And Rhea Ripley's coming back soon, man. Like, she's going to be at the Fanatics thing, so we know she's coming back relatively soon. So we could potentially see her this Saturday at Money in the Bank, maybe even at SummerSlam. But yeah, there's things are gonna implode in the Judgment Day, and it's gonna go one direction or the other, but it's gonna be great.
I agree. All right, you got anything else before we move on to NXT?
Let Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. Okay. I liked the camera angle that they did with that whole thing with Sami leapfrogging him and he crashing into the steel steps. That was a dope move. I wasn't really keen on this match just a couple weeks ago. Still kind of not, but I thought what they did was good. They're booking Braun Breaker like a star, and I can't wait to see what they do with him going forward.
They are, and Sami is a star, and he's the man that should have defeated Roman Reigns, but got cheated out of it. So you already know he's legit. Yeah. He's the IC champion. He beat Gunther. So it just,
these people talking about Rock taking Cody's spot. Well, Cody took Sami's spot last year. So suck it, Cody fans.
Exactly,
because he did. But yeah, no, it's good stuff, and we could talk about the Money in the Bank match, the qualifying match, but we could also save that for predictions too.
Now let's save it for predictions. Yeah, that's why, because everything's Money in the Bank. I'd rather go into it at. All right, let's get into NXT. You ready? A little weird, weird show, but it had moments. All right, it opens up with Jada Parker defeating Michin all in NXT gear for some reason. Ariana Grace, Carmen Petrovic, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix all bicker with each other. New Catch Republic defeat Hank and Tank. Oro Mensah will wrestle tonight, but is banned from Heatwave, so I guess he could wrestle on TV, but not on pay-per-views. Izzy Dame defeats Brindley Reese. Chase U is in session, and they find out that Ridge cheated to help them via photograph. They forgive him, but you ain't coming to Heatwave, bro. You can hang out with Mensa. Lola Vice and Roxanne Perez have a super weird and awkward and off promo. Lola tries to cry but can't. She tells a sad story, and I guess the fans are behind her. They cheered, so that was good, I guess. No Quarter Catch Crew gives Miles Bourne a pep talk. Lexus King will wrestle Eddie Thorne at some point. Oro Mensa defeats Miles Bourne. Tyson DuPont and Tyreek and Gallus all brawl in the back. Enofe and Blade break up, I think, with Reese. I don't know. She walked out. I think they broke up, or maybe they're bickering. I don't know. The OC wants OTM, and they were pretty serious about it. Wendy Chu defeats Carly Bright. Let's talk about that Wendy Chu character. Brooks Jensen has been struggling with alcoholism, so HBK will give him a chance next week. I hope we talk about that segment. Jasmine Nix defeats Carmen Petrovic. Axiom and Frazier are still arguing. Grace and Petrovic will wrestle JC Jane and Jasmine Nix at some point. NXT Men's World Title contract signing to close the show. All 4 men argue. They all sign the contract. They all brawl, and the good guys stand tall to close the show, and that's the NXT review. Yeah, I don't know where you want to start. There was a couple of things of interest. Can we start off with the alcohol? I was very caught off by that. So we had talked last week about the guy. Someone keeps interrupting, and I think you said you think it's Brooks Jensen, if I believe right. And I was like, "Oh, is it?" But they didn't say him. But then they showed him in that footage and basically confirmed it. Now, does he really? This isn't like Scott Hall all over again, right? This is like a joke, right? But if it's like in character, is that good to? I don't know. Someone like having an alcohol problem, and you're trying to get. I thought it was very weird, and I'm not like an offended kind of guy. I was really caught off guard by the segment.
This has been going on for a couple of weeks now. That Brooks Jensen, apparently his wife a few weeks ago went on to X and made a video and was fighting back tears as she spoke about Jensen, saying that he didn't make a recent independent event. And because he was quote unquote released from his contract. And so she was fighting back tears, saying that Ben, calling him Ben, which is his real name, Ben Buchanan, that he was supposed to appear at an independent wrestling event over the weekend of June the 23rd, I believe it was. And that he, after parting ways with WWE, didn't appear at the event, and nobody knew where he was. She expressed her concern that her fiance is out drinking alone at some bar and made a passionate plea to the man she loves. And in the quote, she was like, "Ben, if you're out there and you're listening, I just want you to come home. You don't have to be ashamed. You're not who employs you." But apparently all of that, like, it was, people were like expressing concern. People were like, if this is a storyline, this is weird. This is not a good story at all. Apparently it was a storyline.
Well, of course, he was like showing up at NXT.
Yeah. So it was, but people were confused as to why this was going on. There was no reports of Brooks Jensen ever being released. And yeah, it's just been it's just been a weird development that it started then, and now on NXT this week he's talking about his alcoholism, and Shawn Michaels is going to steer him in the right direction, and because he's had that problem too. He's had those battles as well.
He's my GOAT. I love that dude. But I mean, to hear him say, like, I mean, I think he deserves a second chance. Obviously, Sean. Like, if anyone has demons with alcohol and drugs, like, I
don't know. It's also just, I mean, you fired Mandy Rose because she's posting pictures of risque photos on or on OnlyFans or a similar site to OnlyFans.
Similar site, yeah.
But you're not gonna give her a second chance? Or what about all these other people that have struggled with alcoholism or drugs in the past? They don't get a second chance. I mean, I know it's all storyline, and I'm not like I know the Mandy Rose thing was real and all that, but I don't know. It just comes across disingenuous. I mean, only in WWE can you murder a guy on TV, Braun Breaker taking out Ricochet, write him off, and get rewarded with an Intercontinental title match. And now you have a guy showing up at events. He's been released from his contract. He's not coming home. He's drinking to death. He's an alcoholic, and he gets rewarded with more screen time on WWE television because Shawn Michaels is going to steer him in the right direction. That's pro wrestling, everybody.
Well, it's a TV show of pro wrestling,
right? Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so here's my thing. So is he supposed to be Shawn Michaels? Is that why he's doing? Because Shawn Michaels usually is using stories in NXT from stories that he's done in the past.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's in poor taste. Alcoholism is a real thing. That's not. Yeah. That's something people really, truly struggle with, and it's sad, and they lose their family and jobs and their life because of it. But we'll see where it goes. It's got to work, right? If you're gonna dive into the deep end, homie, you better swim. So yeah, let's see.
And like, what is this going to lead to? That's the other thing. Like, is he gonna get injected into the title picture now of NXT? Is he gonna be the next North American Championship contender? Like, what's this going to lead to?
Well, that's why I brought up Scott Hall, because I hope they don't go that route where he's going to come out with like a bottle and be like, you know, falling over in rings, or have a match where he like swings and falls and he's like asleep and they're like, oh my God, he's like, are we going that route? Because I hope they don't. There was videos of him. Did you see him? He was like laying down. He was like pouring like tequila, or I think it was Jameson, into like a shot glass. And like, was that a real video? I'm assuming he really did post that. I don't know. But let's get into something else. Let's talk about this ending. I want to hear your take, because these are a lot of your boys, your dudes up in here. You don't have to give me. We have predictions coming up. But what do you think of this closing thing? What do you think of New Boy? What do you think? What do you think of it? Let me know. I want to know yours before I throw mine out there. But what do you think of this? Why was nobody interviewing them, by the way? Why was it just them by themselves? Usually there's a moderator
or something. Yeah. I don't know. This was. It was fine. It wasn't bad, but really nothing memorable came out of it. I did notice at one point, it almost felt like the crowd was more behind Jevion Evans than they were Trick Williams. Especially towards the end, I did notice that, where I was just like, "Huh, they're popping pretty loud for this Evans kid," and like they're still popping for Trick. Don't get me wrong, but it was not as loud as it was for Evans. And maybe it's because he's the new guy. He's the new kid. He's only, I think they said 19 years old or something. And he's getting these opportunities. I thought they did a great job with the video packages for all four guys, making them look strong
throughout the show. Yeah.
I thought those were good. But this contract signing was fine. I like that Ethan Page was putting over Trick Williams as you know, the hottest thing in the WWE right now, because he kind of sort of is. And yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good thing. And but I don't know. The contract signings are always hit or miss. This one was fine. It wasn't a miss, but I wouldn't say it was a hit.
Yeah. I thought Javon Evans was a hot mess. And I'm not trying to dog him, but you could be talented and have a future. But when you get
I didn't think he was that good
right now,
mic,
like it was his mic work was so bad that I think it threw Sean Spears off. I don't think Sean Spears knew how to like react with him, and it looked like he was going off the cuff. I think because Sean Spears looked confused a couple times with what he said. I don't know. He didn't seem, he was trying. And then he has a catchphrase too that I've never heard him say until now. It's like a mix of yeet and he was like yak, and everyone's like yak, or I don't know what the heck. I'm like, what is I don't know. We'll get into the pictures who I think, but I also felt bad because these AEW guys, man, NXT crowd can give no shits about Ethan Page or Sean Spears. Every time they talked, it was either mild boos or silence. They don't they want nothing to do with these guys. They don't care. Once again, it just shows that wrestling fans don't watch it. Nobody watches AEW. Casuals, wrestling, only the hardcore 500,000 people in America watch it. It's just not, and us, it's just not like, you know what I mean? You can tell because no one ever, minus Cody, but Cody was there before, really gets that huge. And that's what makes me think about MJF.
Yeah.
If he can, maybe that's why he didn't come over. Maybe he thought that. Maybe he thought, hey, I don't want to go there and people not know who the hell I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his aura already is,
We saw the logo on, we didn't talk about that, but the MFT logo.
Yeah. Was that on purpose? I don't.
It had to have been. I mean, it's identical, like 100% identical. That T, the MFT looks like the T looks like a J. It's just like in a different spot. But yeah, but I think you're right. I think maybe there is some truth to that because look at how Lexis King is being booked. Look at how the crowd doesn't care about Sean Spears or Ethan Page right now. And I think Ethan Page is crushing it in NXT. I think he's doing great, but the crowd just doesn't seem to care. And I think that's going to hurt him more than it's going to help him. But yeah, like maybe there is some truth.
Yeah. And none of them are as big as MJF is, but you know what I mean? Still AEW guys that nobody knows about. So yeah.
I'm behind this.
There you go.
But maybe MJF, maybe he was told you're going to be on NXT if you come over here, and maybe he thought he wanted to be on Raw or SmackDown. He's big time. He's ready, but I don't know. Maybe that had to do with it. So, but yeah, this segment was it was fine. There was nothing really memorable from it. But
no,
the crowd was into it, I guess, minus Ethan Page and Sean Spears.
They don't seem to like him. Yeah. Well, and even like you said, even it didn't seem like Trick didn't put a lot of energy into it, and he didn't really seem to be getting huge pops. I mean, they do the whoop that trick, but minus that, I don't know. I just think it's a very awkward 4-man tag for Heat Wave.
Yeah, big time.
But it is what it is. I think that's really it. Right. What do you want to talk about?
Women's, the Roxanne Perez and that.
Oh yes, let's talk about it.
All right, this is one of those segments, in my opinion, that should have just been a pre-taped backstage segment or a pre-taped interview. I don't understand what was going on. I don't understand what Lola Vice was saying. Number one, number two, like what tripped her up. And she also kind of felt like she jumped ahead. She started talking about like her mother, I think, and some of the things that happened. And then she like skipped ahead in the story and started talking about Heatwave and how I was like, wait, huh? Like, how is this tying into, how is this tying? Like, did she lose the script? Did she forget her line? But there was like an awkward, maybe 10 to 15 seconds of just silence between the two that was just really, really bizarre. That's why, I mean, sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work. And this was one of those instances where it just did not work. And that they should have done like a pre-taped backstage segment with these girls or something and kind of have multiple takes to get it right.
Which sung too, because Roxanne Perez did okay. She looked good in those pants too, but she came out and did her best. But like I said, I don't know if she forgot the line of Lola. I think Lola was too hard on trying to fake cry. They always say in acting, if you can't cry, don't do a scene where you do, because it is what it is. Some people can cry, some people can't. So if you can't do it, don't do it. But other than that, I don't know. It did not get me excited. I was thinking that maybe Lola Vice would win, and now I'm kind of like, after that, did they really want to put that title on her? She didn't. She just isn't. She's another one, and I get it, right? Oba Femi, and we got to get these. It's developmental. You got to get these younger guys, but still, the title still needs to be like Trick was developmental. He was early, but he had sat under Carmelo Hayes for quite a while.
He was ready.
NXT years, you know what I mean? So. Then you can tell the difference, right? Obafemi wasn't. He's kind of been lackluster. And I feel like if you do that to Lola Vice, it's going to be the same thing. Let her cook a little bit. There was even parts where, like, once again, Roxanne Perez brought up Bellator and the crowd was silent. They don't know what Bellator is. No. Casual fans only know what UFC is. They don't even know what MMA is.
Wonder if TKO was happy about that, knowing that they own UFC now. So I wonder if they chastise them backstage. Don't bring up the competition.
Yeah, don't bring up Bellator. Well, they're like, obviously, no one knew who it was.
Yeah, luckily they got lucky. Nobody knew who it was.
But once again, that didn't get me any. So, like I said, this show had what it was trying to do. Just some things just didn't get me where I needed to get to get hyped up for Heatwave. But I am anyway, because I think it'll be a fun show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a solid show. I just hate that this was the go home episode for it, because there was a lot more misses on this show than there were hits. And but I mean, it accomplished what it's supposed to accomplish. I'm excited for Heatwave. So we'll see
and they had a great Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan hype videos. Both literally not talking about their wrestling skills, just their lives of surfing and gymnastics. But nonetheless, it was good hype videos. And
Wesley in his promo.
Oh yeah, he had some.
So
yes. So they did that well. All right. All right, y'all. So really quick before we get into our segment, I want to state that we will be doing a Money in the Bank watch along. So if you're listening, you're hearing this tomorrow, Saturday, we will be doing that Money in the Bank watch along. It's nighttime, so we'll have some fun, do some drinking games, have some whatever else with it, predictions, and so on beforehand. If you've never done a watch along with the two dudes, you are missing out. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. We talk all things wrestling and enjoy the show. So tune in tomorrow. We will be doing that. And I gave you some time. Are you ready?
I am. Which one do we want to do first?
We should start with Money in the Bank. It's Saturday, right?
All right, let's do it. We all know what time it is, right?
It's prediction time. Before it ever happens, it's a prediction. Lean in close, take notes, listen. Cause they about to point it out quickly. All the things that you didn't see is getting called like plays at the line of scrimmage. You can take it to the bank, the dudes ain't tripping. They've been seeing what's coming for a good minute. It's prediction time, yeah, let's get it.
All right, it's time to get out that DraftKings app and start making your bets on every prediction that we make. Lock it in. I have to say, I don't know what WWE did, but these things are pretty fire. Everybody looks like, look how good Sami Zayn's never looked.
Yeah, he's looking dapper.
Everything, all of them, the Money in the Bank ones, they all look good. But all right, so we're starting here. Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker for Gunther's IC Heavyweight Championship. Who do you got, Mr. Ryan? Who do you got?
Oh, man. I'm going to go Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn's going to retain. I do think maybe Bron Breakker is the one to take the belt off of him because they want to give him a big push, and I feel like that's the best way to do it. But it's in Canada. Sami Zayn's not losing in Canada again. He's going to win. He's going to get a huge pop from the crowd. He's gonna barely win. It's gonna be one of those fights like Cody Rhodes had with Brock Lesnar, where it's hard hitting. Sami Zayn's clearly the underdog. He's outmatched, but he's gonna survive. And then maybe at SummerSlam, that's when Braun takes the Intercontinental belt off of him. So I'm gonna go. Sami Zayn wins the battle, but Bron Breakker wins the war later on.
All right. I don't know about the future, but I'm gonna go Sami Zayn as well right now. And I think Kaiser and Sheamus interfere and cost him in some way or fashion. They didn't bring them two up for no reason.
Yeah,
they also want IC championship, even though they're trying to face each other. But Bron Breakker, he's not ready. The IC title, since Gunther got it, now Sami, it feels like it's important. Like it is truly the second best title, the second biggest title. So Sami having it's more important than Braun. Braun's just not there yet.
Yeah, I just hate that they've been pushing Braun as this big monster, and then his first pay-per-view he's gonna lose. But hey, I mean, he can if as long as he looks strong, he'll be fine.
And he can still be a monster without that title. So it makes him more of a monster. So all right, what's next? You're just gonna pop him up and we'll go. There you go. Ooh, we going into it. The men's Money in the Bank match. We got LA Knight, versus Drew McIntyre versus Carmelo, he don't miss, versus Mr. Charlotte Flair versus Jey Uso versus Chad Gable. Who do you got? I made a TikTok that never posted. I think there's only one option, but Ryan, who you picking?
I think this match is going to be an overbooked hot mess. Because you got the Wyatt Six, you have Logan Paul, you got CM Punk, and you maybe have the Bloodline all involved in this. The only two people that could leave unscathed are Andrade and Carmelo,
because no one cares about them.
All right. I'm gonna go Drew McIntyre wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. That's my prediction. And then when we do the last match of the night, I'll give my
other reason. Okay.
Yeah, my reason. But Drew McIntyre is going to win the briefcase.
All right. I have 6 men here, and only one man I would believe could win the championship. But there's only one man who I think will win. Let's go through it. Andrade, he's in it because his wife told Triple H to do it. Carmelo's in it because you want eyeballs on him. He's the new big thing, and he's gonna steal the show of this match.
Oh,
he'll
be everywhere. The stud. Yeah,
100%. LA Knight, yeah, everyone's probably predicting him. I'm assuming I haven't been paying attention, but he's 100% going to get cost by Logan Paul. Whether Logan Paul nucks him at some point, whatever happens, he'll get taken out. Chad Gable is 100% going to be climbing up the ladder when the music hits. Nikki Cross all of a sudden will be on the other side of the ladder. He's going to run down the ladder and run away and never come back. He'll get eliminated.
Yeah, or maybe not Wyatt Six, maybe Otis and Tozawa, or that group.
It could be anything. Yeah, who knows? Somebody, but Chad Gable's not getting through it. And then we got Drew McIntyre. I'm dying on this sword 100%. Drew has everyone laid out. He's on that ladder. His hand is filling up that briefcase. He's petting it like a little puppy, like a doggy. He's ready to get it. And all of a sudden, CM Punk is going to run up or be on the bottom of the ladder. And Drew's going to see him and he's going to push him down. He's going to fall through a table that was set up 75 minutes before that moment. And it's going to be game, set, and match. The only person who's going to win this match is Jey Uso. And here's the thing. Do I think Jey Uso is champion material? Absolutely not. I did a long time ago, but that ship has sailed with him and Roman. I don't, just because he says yeet, but him winning, there is history. There is a story. Cody Rhodes, when Jey Uso left the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes was the only one who accepted him, brought him in, other than Sami, brought him in over to Raw, catered to him. I can see Jey Uso turning and cashing in on Cody Rhodes, or I can see Cody Rhodes, who everybody's over and wants him to not be John Cena anymore, and people are pretending like he's going to have a heel turn. What better way to have a heel turn than turning on Jey Uso when he's trying to cash in on or whatever?
Yeah,
so I'm going to go Jey Uso yeet.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I like that. And then there's the whole Bloodline factor too. That
who knows?
Who knows what happens with them? Could he cash in on Solo Sikoa? Could he cash in on Roman Reigns? Could he cash in on The Rock? So, and is that how he comes back to the OG Bloodline? So there's ways that you can make this happen. But I predicted Jey Uso before versus Tama Tonga in the King of the Ring tournament, and he disappointed me. So that's why I'm not picking him this time. But that is a good pick.
All right. And look how good they all look. I'm telling you, this is the best photos ever. All right. Drew looks like a stud. All right. We got the 6-man everyone's been dying for. We got the Bloodline minus Jacob Fatu versus Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. This might be the hardest one to predict, in my opinion. But who you got?
I'm going to go the Bloodline. The Bloodline has to win. They have to win. And if you and I'm going to say that I think Cody Rhodes should take the pin.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I know he probably won't, but he should, because I think Solo should be the one to pin him.
Okay, because you want to build a summer. Okay.
You want to build a SummerSlam. You want to make the Bloodline look strong. You want to give Solo, you want to make him look strong of all people. What's the best, pinning Kevin Owens? He's done that. Pinning Randy Orton, he's done that. He has never pinned Cody Rhodes, and that would give him, that would put him even with Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns beat him once. Now Solo Sikoa's pinned him once. So yeah, I think the Bloodline has to win. You can't do everything you've done with Paul Heyman and build to the return of Roman Reigns and book this as strong as they have, and just to have them lose in the 6-man match at Money in the Bank. So I'm gonna go Solo Sikoa pinning Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes needs to take the pin. It's non-title. It's not going to hurt him. It's going to put the Bloodline, make them look stronger than ever.
All right. I mean, the only way the Bloodline loses is if Roman Reigns gets revenge from Paul Heyman, but I think it's too soon at Money in the Bank. So I'm going to go with you. That prediction was solid. I like everything about it. Never thought of that. Now, I dig it.
If this match closes the show, I do think we're in for a surprise. Maybe Roman Reigns does come back at the end to stare down Solo or something. But I don't know if it is going to close the show.
I don't know. All right, what's next?
Let's see what we got.
Oh, this is closing the show. All right, we got the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I meant opening. We got Io Sky versus Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi versus Zoe Stark versus Chelsea Green. Who are you picking? Why is it Chelsea Green?
Chelsea Green all day long. I mean, she's the only one that has really been booked solidly despite everything that she's gone through. Tiffany Stratton's been strong. I'll give her that. And Lola Vice too. But Io Sky really hasn't done anything since she dropped the title at Mania, and Damage Control is still kind of in flux right now. Naomi is just kind of there. Zoe Stark, I have no idea why she's in this match in the first place. She really hasn't. I mean, I think she could be. I feel like Shayna Baszler's kind of holding her back a little bit, or that tag team is holding her back. I think she could be doing more than just tag team wrestling. So maybe this will be her coming out party, but it's got to be Chelsea Green. The crowd's going to pop so loud if Chelsea Green wins the briefcase.
And imagine her with it. It's just going to be so annoyingly amazing. Io Sky has no chance. She's in it just to continue the damage control storyline. Valkyria is in it for the same reason as Carmelo Hayes. Zoe Stark's in it. She was in it last year. She also still needs to get pushed and get more eyeballs on her. I could see Tiffany Stratton winning only because she was the biggest thing going, and it's believable that she could beat Bayley if she cashed in. But I don't think it's going to be her, but I could see it. Naomi as well. Naomi and Bayley have a story right now. They're talking about it. Naomi has, we've been wanting her as well as, Bianca to turn heel. Imagine Naomi getting it and then turning heel on a Bayley. Ooh, that'd be great. But I think it has to be Chelsea Green. I mean, the WWE has heard nothing but dirty. They never treat her fair. She needs something with all the terrible gimmicks she has been given and overcome. Why not give it to Chelsea? Let her hold that thing for a while. Have Piper Niven backing her up. It just writes
especially with Nia Jax getting the match at SummerSlam. They're having Piper Niven in that corner. Just imagine the stare down between Niven and Jax and the.
Yep.
I mean, so yeah, sign me up, Chelsea Green all day long. And whatever you do, WWE, they have a tendency. I think they've done this like a couple of years now in a row. Don't have the woman cash in the same night. Because they did that last year with Io Sky. She cashed in on Bianca Belair at the end of the show. It was either that or at SummerSlam. I can't remember which one, but it was like shortly after Money in the Bank. And no, let the woman hold on to it for a while. Let them hang on to it, because I forgot Io Sky had the briefcase last year.
So did I.
She won it last year and then cash in immediately. And meanwhile, Damian Priest dragged out his cash in. So let the women cook for a little while and let them hold on to the briefcase for a bit.
I agree. All right, let's get into it. Last one. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins, World Heavyweight Championship. Who you got? Another hard one.
Yeah, and there's the stipulation that if Damian Priest wins, Seth Rollins can never compete for the title as long as Damian Priest is champion, and if Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. So, a little couple of stipulations rather, but I'm gonna go Damian Priest retains, and this is why I picked Drew McIntyre to win Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre is gonna come out at the end of the show and attempt to cash in on Damian Priest. Priest cashed in on McIntyre at WrestleMania, so it's only fair and only fitting and only right for McIntyre to cash in on Damian Priest. That's when CM Punk comes out and cost him the cash in, and there's nothing it's a failed cash in because CM Punk cost him the cash in, or maybe something with AJ Lee. I feel like AJ Lee might get involved and cost him the cash in, and then that's what's going to set up for Punk versus McIntyre. That's going to be the final straw. Punk versus McIntyre at SummerSlam. Damian Priest is going to beat Seth Rollins to retain his championship.
I don't mind that. I like it a lot. I'm still going to stick with mine. I think Damian Priest retains via Liv Morgan help, which continues the Bloodline storyline and adding in Liv Morgan, taking everything away from Rhea Ripley. So, but I like them both. But either way, I don't think Seth wins. He's not coming back to win the title again. He just had it.
No, and just to drop it a month later to Gunther. Like, this is Gunther's title at SummerSlam. And, Seth winning it just to drop it to Gunther doesn't make any sense. Give Priest some continuity with the belt. A 5-month reign is nothing to scoff at, and
no, at all. Yeah,
and beating champion, like a former champion like Seth Rollins, beating Drew McIntyre and Damian, and everybody else that he's had. Give him his flowers. He's been a great champion.
I agree. All right, Heat Wave time. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Ooh, we got this match to start off with a countdown. We don't usually do the countdown, but let's do it. Who do you got? Cody Rhodes or these other girls?
I don't know. I'm going to go JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. I just feel like, I don't really care about this match one at all.
We don't got to go into it. Yeah, it's Jasmine. It's the same thing. JC Jane's not losing, and neither is Jasmine Nix. No. Yes, sir. All right. Next up, we got the North American Men's Championship, Obafemi versus Wes Lee. Who's winning? Man, Obafemi looks good. See, they all look good, man. This is good.
That promo the video package that Wes Lee had, where he talked about how much the NXT North American Championship has meant to him. He never lost the title. He had to vacate the belt. Obafemi's had a good run with the belt, but I feel like we got to have a title change at a pay-per-view, and I feel like this is the one that's going to change hands, and I think Wesley is going to find a way to take that belt off of Obafemi.
All right, we got a bunch of different predictions then, because I have all sorts of titles changing hands, and it starts here. I got Wesley winning. I think Obafemi's been boring. I think Triple H probably wants him to go to the big show because he's a big dude and he needs some big guys over there. But yeah, I got Wesley, man. Wesley deserves it. He always loses it because he's been injured. I think it's his time. Shawn Michaels loves him anyway, so
yeah, I do wish Wesley would move up away from the North American picture and go up to like Trick Williams's level and go up to after the NXT championship. But it's nothing to scoff at being at the North American championship title and holding it for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Great championship. All right, who we got? All right, we got the women's championship. Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice in a who had a worse promo contest. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Roxanne Perez retaining here. I was kind of like you. I was on the Lola Vice bandwagon where, you know, I thought maybe this was her chance to win, but you know, every time I think Roxanne Perez is going to lose the title, she ends up retaining it. I thought Jordan Grace was going to beat her and take the belt over to TNA, and that obviously never happened. So I think Roxanne Perez is going to hold on to it at least for a while, and you know, Lola Vice is going to put up a fight, but Roxanne's going to retain.
I agree fully. Roxanne Perez wins. I had Lola Vice. I was thinking she would win. Why not have Roxanne lose it? But nah, she didn't beat Jordan Grace to just lose a Lola Vice a month later. I got Roxanne Perez defending her women's championship. Yes, sir. All right, what's next? Here it is. What we all pay our money for Peacock subscriptions. We got Chase U versus Frazier and Axiom for the tag team championship. Look at even the hell looks bad in this. Look at Rich Holiday. Oh, this is some good, man. We need to get graphics. Us on this. Who did this? We need
some graphics. Yeah,
man, this is good. But who you got?
I'm going Chase U. I feel like they've been kind of stagnant a little bit. They've been kind of, you know, the Ridge Holland element has added a little bit of pizzazz to the group. But other than that, I feel like they haven't really done much. And Axiom and Frazier, you know, I feel like their title reign has just been a little bland. And it's a perfect time to change belts. So I'm going to go Chase U just to freshen them back up a little bit, and after everything that they've had with the scandal and all that, so, and the calendar and just they need calendar. And the tag, they've been solid in the tag division, and I think it's time to give them the tag titles.
Yeah, I feel bad because their last reign was like 1 day long and it sucked.
Yeah,
I got Chase U winning. Chase U's on the up and they need something. Axiom and Frazier, they're literally storyline bickering over not caring about the tag team titles. So why are they going to win? Weird. I feel like they're losing. So yeah, I got Chase U in my second title change of the night. All right. Here we go. We got the Kalani Jordan versus the finest woman alive, Sol Ruca, for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Who you got? This is a hard one or easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Kalani Jordan retains. I want Sol Ruca to win. I think Sol Ruca should have won when they had the 4-way after the tournament, but she didn't. And I this is the first defense that Kalani Jordan has had since winning that belt. So she's not going to lose it right away. So I'm going to go Kalani Jordan wins, but I think this match could steal the show.
All right. I have my third title change. I'm going to go Sol Ruca. I think they wanted Sol Ruca to have it. I think they gave it to Kalani just to get her a little rub, and now she'll always be known as the first ever. But what has she done? Her last match was pretty whack. She's not really getting good crowd reactions. She's another one who just wasn't ready. Sol Ruca is ready, bruv. Give her that California girl, man. Give it to her. Let's go. Or is she Hawaiian? I don't know. I'm from California. She looks like I know her. So I say Sol Ruca winning that title.
And again, I want Sol Ruca to win. I just have a feeling Kalani Jordan is going to win.
Yeah, you might be right. All right. What do we got? We got one left. This is it. What you've been waiting for. We got the 4-way between Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears. I mean, who do you got, man? Who's going to win the World NXT Heavyweight Championship?
Trick Williams is retaining. Hands down, no questions asked. Ethan Page, as great as he's been in NXT, he's not getting the crowd reaction that we all thought he would, and he's not going to win the belt. Jevion Evans is too young. This is his first title match, I think, maybe ever. Maybe he had a North American title match at one point or something, but this is his first title match ever, and it's in a fatal 4-way. His time will come. It's just not now. And then Shawn Spears, you talk about a guy who's been inconsistently booked, like Kalani Jordan with her reign. Shawn Spears isn't ready to be NXT champion. I mean, I feel like they only put the two AEW guys in the match because of the Cody Rhodes segment they had a few weeks ago, where he said, "You guys are in a great home." Which, like, what are they, like puppies now? Like, I don't understand. Like, you came to a good home.
Oh no, we lost them. All right, so while he's getting back, let's see. Is he back? Let's almost. He was talking about puppies, but not like Jerry the King Lawler. Oh, there he is. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I think it's none of the other three guys are ready. Trick Williams is on another level from them, and Trick Williams.
So I had Ethan Page highlighted originally, and then I was like, I feel like Ethan Page can pin Shawn Spears, maybe start a feud between the AEW guys, or pin Javon Evans and get that going. But nah, I think it's Trick Williams. I think those are just teasing that he could lose because anyone can get pinned. And I think there will be moments where it looks like it. But yeah, I think Trick Williams will close out the show still.
I think if Trick loses the belt, it's going to be in a one-on-one match. I feel like that it means more when you lose one-on-one than in a fatal 4-way where you don't even get pinned.
I agree. I fully agree. And there you go. That's our NXT Heatwave and WWE Money in the Bank predictions. Once again, we will be doing a Money in the Bank watch along for sure. Maybe in a Heatwave. We'll keep you updated while you're watching our Money in the Bank one to decide if we're doing the Heatwave the next day, because it is on a Sunday. But no matter what, tune in. It's going to be a great time. Continue watching us. And that's it, man. WWE had a great week. As always, it's like the support, continue subscribing, continue telling your friends about it, continue liking and commenting on our videos. We always truly appreciate you guys and the love we get for two little dudes independently, just trying to make it big out here in the podcast and social media world. Right. As always, if you want to check me out right now, I can't post on TikTok. I don't know. I keep making videos and they will not post. So I'll keep you updated on that, but you can catch me at HBD Denton. I should just start posting them on Instagram too, because I also have that. Maybe they'll let me post. But as always, if you want to just hear me talk, tune in. But with me, as always, my brother from another mother,
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. And if you want to hear me talk, which I need to get back on the TikTok, life has kind of gotten in the way here the last few weeks. And we're going to get this podcast going again. We're going to get everything going again after the holiday, including our social media output. But go follow me at Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go hit us up at Two Dudes with Attitudes on TikTok, at Two Dudes PC on X. And if you're listening to us virtual or audio wise on Apple or Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. Go leave us a 5-star rating and review. And keep on subscribing, keep on doing your thing, because 2024, we've had a great year so far, but we're only going to get bigger and better, faster and stronger. So this is the year of the dudes.
Two dudes, Wolfpack. We out.
Two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking. So let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, starting to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.